1 minute later, and then I speak. Welcome back to Higurashi. So, yeah, it's time to get more into this. While at one point I turn the lights on after it gets really terrifying. Cause you know. Anyway, of course, I'm just waiting for people to come in and send a message before I get started, since you know this is a visual novel. I tend to read this throughout. So if anyone just came in, be sure to send the message as always. Is anyone going to... Oh my god, I can't even do it without cracking up. Oh, well, hello to the other person that's watching. Welcome and enjoy the show. Okay. Okay, yeah, you're good. I don't even know why I'm stalling here. Just to hope people come in and just... I don't have to start without them. Anyway, let's get started now. Yeah, I saw that. After hanging up on Shion, I search for Rika-chan's phone number on my school contact list. There it is! My fingers trembled with urgency, and I failed multiple times to put in a simple 5-digit number. Keiji? Are you calling someone at this hour? It's late, and it's being rude to the other person. That doesn't matter right now. I shouted angrily at my mother, listening to the dial tone. Pick up! Come on, pick up! The time was 11 p.m. It certainly wasn't early. It was essentially the middle of the night. Had Rika-chan already gone to bed? Her phone would be ringing constantly, so would she get back up for me? Rika-chan didn't pick up. She didn't pick up. She didn't pick up! Maybe she just happened to miss it. Maybe her bed was just too far away from the phone. The sound of the phone ringing gets clearer and clearer the longer you go on sleeping. Yeah, I know that feeling. Then, the bathroom? Yeah, she must be taking a bath. If that was the case, then even if she heard the phone, she wouldn't be able to pick up. It was a little late to be taking a bath, but... yeah. Though, like I said before, I know exactly what happened to her in this chapter. Well, you'll see once we get to, like, the answer half of the game. It was a little late to be taking a bath, but it was possible she normally took baths right before going to bed. Wait 30 minutes, then try calling again. Of course, we gotta start this with this song. Even though as I was thinking that, I called her house over and over again. I kept calling over and over, again and again. I kept on calling her, but she didn't pick up even once. I think I kept trying for about 30 minutes. Yet she wasn't picking up. Were my phone calls so persistent that she had gotten scared of picking up the receiver? No, that couldn't possibly be it. There was no point in doing this any longer. Oh yeah. The best thing to do would be to go there in person. Where was Rika-chan's house, though? I've never even asked her where she lived. I would assume the Furude shrine. If anything. Her residence was written there in the contact list, but it was an address with mostly numbers, so I couldn't tell where it was just by reading it. Isn't there a map or something in here? Rika Furude. Her last name was Furude. It was a bit of an odd last name, so it might be easy to find. Thinking that, I rummaged around the drawer with the phone book, but could only find things like takeout menus and phone numbers for public establishments. I tore one thing after another out of the drawer, but I didn't come up with any clues as to where Rika-chan's house was. Calm down, Keiji Maebara. If you don't know, then just ask. Ask someone who does know. Ah, that's it. Rena's gotta know. I looked up Rena's phone number on the contact list. Rena Ryugu. There she was. Okay. Hello? This is Ryu. Oh, hello? This is Ryugu. It was the voice of a grumpy sounding man. It must. Oh, okay. Whoops. Hello? Hello? This is Ryugu. It was the voice of a grumpy sounding man. It must have been Rena's father. I am calling in the middle of the night. I need to be polite. I'm sorry for calling so late at night. This is Maebara. Is there any chance Rena-san is around? Reina is taking a bath. Oh, she's done? Reina! There's a friend of yours on the phone. Alright, Reina Ryugu was her real name, wasn't it? Gotten so used to calling her Rena that hearing her real name caught me a little off guard. Hello? This is Rena. It's me, Keiji. Sorry for calling so late. Huh? Keiji-kun? What do you need at a time like this? Like this? Well, actually, I wanted to know where Rika-chan's house is. Rena seemed a little appalled that I call her for something like that at this hour. However, she spoke to her next word seriously, as if she caught on how urgent my need was. Insert bear noise here. Hi, Odin. How are you doing tonight? Okay, sure. You know the assembly hall on the grounds of the Furude Shrine? There's a 2-story shack used for storage behind it. That's where she lives. No, there isn't. Apparently in some games it requires, like for a lot of games, like I need some large amounts of viewers in order for the audio source to kick in, Odin. I couldn't immediately... Nice. Just knows I got a little badge for gifting subs. Anyway, I couldn't visualize immediately the place, but as long as I knew she lived on the shrine grounds, I just have to take a look around. Got it. Thanks. Sorry again for calling so late. Apologize to your dad for me too, would you? Okay, but Keiji-kun, why do you want to know where Rika-chan lives? Rena asked it in an unusually sharp way, halting me before I could hang up the phone. I hesitated for a moment whether to tell her. He was killed because I told him. Keiji-kun? If you're still listening, could you answer me? Why are you asking where Rika-chan lives at a time like this? Rena affected her usual tone, but beneath her words lay a certain tension, like she intuitively sensed something was going on. What will you do, Keiji? If it's Rena, can't I tell her? He was killed because he found out. I revealed everything, so he was killed. Keiji-kun, Rena is being serious. Please answer me. Rena asked me once again in a tone so forceful, I couldn't imagine her using it normally. I was taken aback by her vigor. Rena was Rika-chan's friend too. She had the right to be concerned about Rika-chan disappearing. If I told Rena then, even if it's only for a moment, I could drive away my horrifying fears. Rena? Well, I can't exactly tell you why, but... Yes? Rena's tone was seriousness itself. Just from that tone, I could feel her saying, no matter what you say, Keiji-kun, I'll believe you. A subtle sense of security gave me the courage to reveal the truth. I have a feeling that Rika-chan is in danger. You mean like a... premonition? Or do you have some reason to believe she's in danger? I really didn't have time to go back and forth with Rena about this. Still, I think listening to her calm voice soothed my pointless impatience. I don't have much reason, but yet I still hesitated. I had told Rika-chan that we had snuck into the ritual storehouse. The mayor to whom Shion had confessed before that had already disappeared. So it was possible that Rika-chan also... I didn't know how to explain it to Rena. While I was tongue-tied, Rena spoke up. Sorry for asking something so weird. I thought about it, and it isn't like you need to be sure. Rena laughed a little, seeming a bit absent-minded. I wasn't exactly in the mood to laugh, so this time I was dumbfounded. Rena continued in a cheerful yet still purposeful voice. You're worried about a friend. I don't think you need a reason to go and check on him. Even if Rika-chan was asleep, you end up waking her up. If that was why you did it, then none of us would get mad. Rena, thank you. Okay, Keiji-kun, just one thing. You called Rika-chan's house, right? Then you couldn't get through. That's why you asked me where her house is. Yeah, that's right. I must have called her for over 10 minutes. She could just be sleepy and not have noticed. Rika-chan's house is really small. She would definitely hear the phone ringing even if she was asleep. Satoko-chan is there too, so there's no way neither of them would notice. Huh? Satoko, you mean she's living with Rika-chan? Yeah, you didn't know? Well, we can talk about that later. Anyway, if you called that much and no one answered, then then something's definitely wrong. Rena understood that the situation wasn't normal far faster than I could ever imagine her to. You know, Rena is... I mean, it's become clear Rena's pretty smart. Like, she wouldn't even fall for lies like in Watanagashi-hen. It made her seem dependable. However, the fact that Rena had acknowledged this also meant that the best case possibility of it all just being the result of my own needless fear went out the window. I'll go to Rika-chan's house right now. Will you come with me? I can show you the way. Sounds good. Let's meet up at the same place as usual. And I'll be waiting for you. No, wait! I'll come get you at your house. You just wait here and tell your family you're coming with me to Rika-chan's house, okay? Will that be okay? We might lose time if you come here. Did you call Mi-chan too? She's really dependable at times like these. If you haven't, then I'll give her a call. My thoughts froze for a moment. Shiona just told me to be careful around Mion during our phone conversation a little while ago. If the Sonosaki main house was somehow lurking behind the surface of the annual freak deaths, then the current heir to the family, Mion, wouldn't be uninvolved. So wouldn't that mean she wasn't uninvolved in what happened this year to Takano-san and Tomitake-san, and also the mayor's disappearance? Okay, bye. I'll be right over. Wait for me. That's all Rena said before hurriedly hanging up. Now wasn't the time to be doubting Mion. I need to make sure Rika-chan was safe. I got change and grabbed the key to my bike. I figured things would go more smoothly if we met up in a place like this we usually do before school. Rena wouldn't need to come all the way to my house. My parents would probably have objected if I told them I was leaving, so I creeped out without a word. The night was unusually warm and disagreeably humid. You know, and here I am thinking, at least with spring coming up, at least in this year in Chicago, the raining season has kicked in already. You know, wake up calls for plant life and congrats on leveling up if Odin sees this on YouTube. That's why I like to think of the raining season, is to let the plants know it's time to get up, the weather's getting warm, and to let the humans go out and enjoy the fresh air of spring and summer and the sight of autumn. Alright, let me continue on. I got a little off topic there. She said that Rika-chan and Satoko lived together, right? Then it wasn't only Rika-chan. Satoko wasn't there either? Realizing what them living together really meant caused my thoughts to immediately take a turn for the worse. That can't be. Satoko is. She's got nothing to do with any of this. Oh boy. Like I said, I know what's gonna go down in the answer arc. You'll find out when it starts. Don't worry. Even if there were a reason for Rika-chan to disappear, there shouldn't be one for Satoko. Keiji-kun? Rena was really fast. She approached me on her bike at an amazing speed. Her breath was ragged, painting a clear picture of just how hurriedly she's been going. Hey, Rena, let's get going. Keiji-kun. Jesus, what's with the blur? I thought I told you to wait at your house. Rena's expression was all serious, was all business. Was she mad? It came out of the blue, and I faltered for a moment. Well, I just figured it would be faster to meet up here. Oh, Jesus! That noise in that image really just startled me. Keiji-kun, don't you get it? Rena shouted, clearly angry. I'd never seen Rena like this before. At least she doesn't have those eyes either, but those blur are really getting me. Do I get it? What's the problem? Rena seemed to notice she was scaring me, took a couple deep breaths, then continued as if admonishing me, but her expression didn't soften at all. Keiji-kun, the whole village is in an uproar now that the elder disappeared, right? Yeah. Now you're telling me that Rika-chan and Satoko-chan aren't where they're supposed to be, right? Yeah, that's about sums it up. What the? Is this bugged or something? That's pretty unusual. Then you need to be more careful. Do you have any idea how dangerous it is to be standing out here alone in the middle of the night? Oh, geez. Even my parents would tell me the same thing for walking around late at night. I should probably take Rena's advice at this point as well. Yeah, it's like both of the images blend in or something. Let me quick save real quick and reset the game. Let me send the screenshots real quick as well on Steamaroo. Oh, right, quick save. I was like, oh my god, I hope I... Okay, got it. I got it. Alright, let me save, screenshot these real quick so we don't have that weird blur. Yeah, I guess a little reset did the trick. Now, I began to understand where Rena's anger was coming from. Oh, really, KG? You told your family you'd be going to Rika-chan's house with me, didn't you? So that in the worst case scenario, if you and I were to disappear, people would know when and where we did. You know, she does have a point, KG. Rena was perfectly level-headed in this emergency situation. Ever since the night of Watanagashi. I think I picked that up from Odin now, like Yutampo, of course. Every night, someone had died or disappeared. On the night itself, Takano-san and Tomitake-san met strange ends. On the next night, the elder vanished. Now on the next night after that, Rika-chan and Satoko were nowhere to be found. I hadn't been thinking of anyone but myself, but... It wasn't enough to say that Hinamizawa was a little weird at the moment. It was in fact extremely strange. Rena had even anticipated our own disappearances and had told me to tell my family where I was going. Probably. I was embarrassed at my own carelessness, and the need to be embarrassed made me afraid of the night. Sorry, I didn't tell him yet. Okay, let's go tell him together. With Rena beside me, I wheeled back towards my house. What a beautiful moon! The moon seemed strangely high in the sky. The sky that was uselessly vast and cold. So no matter what, it would never seem to me like a dream. This cruel fact had already confronted me. On such crazy nights, Rena had been unimaginably dependable. Hinamizawa's metamorphosis enough to make Rena caution me about carelessness was, to me, the most fearsome thing of all. The moon seemed strangely high in the sky. We met up with Mion on the way, and she, of course, was unsure whether to believe me about Rika-chan and Satoko's appearance. Kei-chan, are you serious? I'm going to get really mad if this is a joke. Mion was clearly displeased. If this were a joke, it wasn't very funny. I understood how indiscreet my words were. Ever since the day before yesterday, someone had either died or vanished every night. Rika-chan and Satsuko disappearing after all of that was something you couldn't just say even in jest. You're making me want to play like Friends of Mineral Town now, Maroon. Hey-chan, if it really is a joke, don't get mad. Smile. It would be a joke after all. We need to go make sure whether or not it's a joke or not. You're right. Sorry for getting upset. However indiscreet a joke it may have been, if we learned that our friends were safe, it would end up as nothing more than a funny story. Having been warned about that by Rena, Mion gave a dry smile. The tension she felt loosening a bit. She mounted her bicycle as well. Oh, I see. Our 3 bicycle lights flashed down the pitch black roads. They were some of the only illumination outside. Kei-chan, why did you suddenly decide to call and ask about Rika-chan's house at a time like this? Mion asked me the same thing that I had trouble explaining to Rena. Would it be weird to call it a premonition? Oh, I need to look that up after. I couldn't quite tell because it was dark, but I thought I could see Mion smiling very ambiguously. I definitely understood that she wasn't convinced though, despite the darkness. Well, I had this bad dream while I was snoozing, and I couldn't get it out of my head. So, did Rika-chan get kidnapped in the dream? Well, it was more of a vague feeling sort of thing. If Rika-chan had answered the phone, I would have called you and Rena after that. Basically that, Maroon. Lies smoothly babbled out of my mouth, makeshift though they were. I was lying because I thought telling them I was connected to Shion would be likely silently admitting we'd stolen into the ritual storehouse together that night. Mion didn't press me any further. I don't know whether that convinced her, or maybe she figured that making sure Rika-chan and Satsuko were safe would be faster than making an issue out of it. I felt relieved and immediately a little guilty. Mion hadn't really been acting differently these last few days, but I'm still trying to distance myself from her for some reason. It was only because of what I heard from Shion and Mr. Oishi. Yeah, I say Mr. Oishi because I've been having a difficult time pronouncing his name properly. That she was the successor to some kind of super extravagant gang family. No. Was I just trying to force myself to forget? Don't do that, Keiji Maibara. Wasn't it Mion who was the first to ask about the night of the Watanagashi? In a harsh tone at that. Have I already forgotten the terror I felt? At the time, Mion looked like someone different from the Mion I knew. When I think about that Mion, then Shion and Mr. Oishi descriptions of Mion made a tiny bit more sense. That's it, isn't it? If it wasn't for how she acted that day, then I wouldn't be feeling this way towards her now. What on earth was going on with her back then? I was conveniently thinking of everything she had done after that, while disregarding the very first thing, the thing I should have been looking the most, wasn't I? Mion was pedaling her bicycle in front of me, her long hair fluttering in the wind. No matter how long I looked at her back, it never gave me answers to any of my questions. We went all the way to the stone steps leading up to the shrine grounds. Of course, we weren't going to want to haul our bikes up here. Oh, I'll be right back around 7. Just so you guys know. Or go AFK since... I'll explain it after. Of course, we weren't going to want to haul our bikes up here, so we parked them beside the staircase instead. So, this is the Furude Shrine. Everybody comes and goes as they please, as if it were a park, but this is actually a grand estate owned by the Furude family. So this entire shrine is private property. It really makes you feel like the passage of time. Yeah. 10 or 20 years ago, it would have looked the exact same. Then, wouldn't that mean the Furude family is really old? With a history going back for generations? Yeah. They're gone. That's odd. Rena said something clearly disquieting, so I ran over to her. What's wrong, Rena? Rika-chan and Satoko-chan always leave their bicycles here. See? They're gone. Ooh, that's brutal. I took a look around. Indeed, there were no other bicycles aside from the ones we'd taken to get here. Couldn't they park them somewhere else? Could they brought them up the stairs? Those girls couldn't do that, Keiji-kun. Just as she said, I couldn't imagine Rika-chan and Satoko lugging their bikes all the way up there. We hadn't knocked on Rika-chan's door, but reality was already sparking some ideas that weren't what you call good. I'll be right back real quick. I gotta get dressed as well. I'm usually in PJs, just so you guys know. Don't get any funny ideas. Yeah, I'm back. Maybe they were just parked under some tree and we hadn't noticed them. I refuse to believe not being able to find their bikes here was proof that they disappeared. Let's go. The only way to be sure is to check their house. We all nodded and dashed up the stone steps. We passed through the red arch and came out onto the shrine grounds, which was covered in neat gravel. It was so quiet here, as though the Watanagashi festival had never happened. So, where's the house they live in? Over here. Come with me. Rena took the lead and sprinted off. We went towards the assembly hall behind the shrine, then looped behind it. Anyway, in the darkness of the night, we found a small prefab, two-story shack that looked like a warehouse. The lights are off. Are they sleeping? Maroon, seriously, don't bring the conversations from Discord here is all I could say. Rena and Mio neared the shack, which didn't really look like a place where people live. They had such a beautiful shrine, so I'd figure they live in an equally beautiful house. It was far from what I expected. Rika-chan! Satoko-chan! Are you there? Rena shouted up towards the second floor. Her voice was restrained at first, but it steadily grew louder. No answer. In fact, there wasn't any sort of activity in the house at all. They might be sleeping. Let's wake them up. Mion banged on the shutter with both hands. Oh, I can already see this scene I'm predicting coming. Oh my god, this is what happens when you watch the anime and read the mangas as well. And the loud sounds echo into our surroundings. Yeah, exactly. Hi, Avion. How are you doing tonight? I'm good. Just reading this, trying to get the first half of this story done before the second half is finished on Steam. Oh yeah. Again, because I have nothing better left to do, and I love hearing this jingle every time. Yeah, exactly. Free sub for me. You're welcome. Anyway, let me continue on until more of my followers come in. They would have noticed this much noise. They would turn on their light in the room, fling open the windows, and yell, "What time do you think it is?" Yeah, I know. It's from Black and White, that old PC game. That, however, wasn't happening. There was absolutely no response. Mion stopped slamming her fist on the shutter, and a sudden silence fell over us. The silence aroused terrible thoughts in us. I could feel the blood draining from my face. It's locked. I wonder if we can get into somehow. Rena showed no signs of stopping. It didn't look like she would admit they weren't there until we went inside and saw for ourselves. That refusal to give in gave me strength. The second story window wouldn't be locked. I'll give him a try. Kei-chan, a ladder. Mion brought over a ladder that was standing against the house. Yeah, that's what it seems like. Oh my god, I know the Clannad, like, Steam version is riddled with typos. The footing was a little unstable for me to be climbing it, but Mion held the ladder firmly in place for me. Oh boy, here we go. Here it comes in maybe in a few pages. I hadn't climbed too many ladders. My inexperience with them exposed. I climbed up one step at a time and tried to open each window on the second floor. Mii-chan, I'm going to check the main house just to be sure, okay? I'll be right back. I'm already feeling a bit like, oh boy, with this coming. Rena darted away. What? A main house? It's the Furude's family's actual house. After her parents passed away, I think it's been left like that. Ah, right. Rika-chan's parents, they passed away, huh? At that point, I recalled something else. Wasn't Satoko living here too? Satoko's also an orphan. Her parents fell from a cliff because of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Then her older brother, Satoshi-kun, he disappeared. Satoshi, I've heard that name before. Exactly. Satoshi, I've heard that name before. I remember. He was the one who disappeared last year because of the curse. Ever since then, Satoko and Rika-chan have been living in this shack. Neither of them has any family, but at least they're together. They help each other out. Rena said main house, didn't she? Wouldn't it be easier to live there? The curtains were drawn, so I couldn't get a good look inside to see, but two young girls living together seemed like a pretty tough life. What do you mean? I think she tried that at first. She said it was hard, though, because it reminded of her parents. I had no idea. I feel really bad for them. They were normally so cheerful at school that I never realized an atom of this. Rika-chan and Satoko-chan, they have it hard, huh? She's cursed. Huh? Suddenly, Mion said something in a low voice that it sounded like she was really cursing someone, and I didn't let it slide. I turned around on the ladder to face her and ask her again, Mion, what did you just say? I said she's cursed. Mion, holding onto the ladder, brought her head up and looked me in the eyes. As soon as our eyes met, an absolute zero jolt of electricity surged through my body. Mion's eyes clawed over, and within them boiled and bubbled a stew of chaos. Okay, Maru. They whirled around and around like a raging sea, and bubbles floated to the surface. I had, at some point, been trapped on this ladder, like being cornered on a dead-end street. Mion, why are you making that face? I intended to follow up with, you're going too far with this joke, and give her a forced smile. However, on such an uneven footing as I was, the only thing that came out of my mouth was a hoarse groan as I desperately struggled to not let nausea overwhelm me. Satoko Hojo. She's been cursed by Oyashiro-sama. Mion's answer with a response to something I never asked, as if replying to somebody else's question. Brains. The only people who fell from the park observation platform were her parents. Only her parents, who treated her like dirt, died that day. She was the only one to survive. Then she was sent to live with her aunt, and who treated her. Okay, I think this is Mion talking. The only people who fell from the park observation platform were her parents. Only her parents, who treated her like dirt, died that day. She was the only one to survive. Then she was sent to live with her aunt, who treated her cruelly, and the aunt was killed on the night of Watanagashi by some deviant who beat her to death so violently her brains were everywhere on that, and her head an entirely different shape by the end of it. Then Satoshi-kun, who always protected her, he suddenly disappeared on her birthday. Someone made him disappear, even though he wasn't abusing her. Ugh. The police judged him to have run away from home, but Satoshi-kun wasn't the kind of person who would do that. He was always earnest. He would never ask for anyone for help. Oh my god, that voice is constantly evolving as well. He would always drag himself through everything with hard work alone. He worked so hard, he nearly ground his bones into dust. Oh yeah. All for his one and only little sister, and yet someone made him disappear. She was the only thing he lived for, and yet someone made him disappear. Poor Satoshi-kun. He was never awarded. That Satoshi-kun. How ungrateful that child is. She is cursed. All who get near her suffer the same fate. The curse kills them, or the curse makes them disappear. She cannot have any relief. She cannot have any relief. It's probably Satoko's fault that Rika disappeared. Too. It has to be it. 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 All work and no play. Exact doll boy. Mion's was mumbling words over and over that were no longer coherent. Oh my god. Her shoulders were trembling so hard that I could feel it through the ladder. I almost lost my footing, which made me realize just how far away from the ground it really was. Calm down, Mion. I don't know what you're talking about. I wasn't sure if she even heard me. Mion rocked back and forth, and that rocking and trembling became even more violent. Help me! The ladder, it's falling! Help me! Help! Just then, I heard the sound of many people running towards us. Oh, hey! Over here! I very nearly said, help me outright. 4 or 5 adults led by Rena over here with flashlights. Keiji-kun, Mi-chan, sorry I took so long. I borrowed the key. Oh, nice one. Seems all the windows and doors are perfectly sealed. Now I was getting worried. When I heard Mion talking like nothing had just happened, I again felt a chill run through me. The person currently holding the ladder in place, it was definitely Mion. It was the real Mion Sonosaki. Then, the person muttering to themselves just a few seconds ago. Who was that? That person who was mumbling about terrible things like curses? Who was that? I jumped down from the ladder as if running away before Mion turned into that person who wasn't Mion a second time. The adults tried a few different keys on a keyring as they tried to open the big shutter on the first floor. Rika-chan's house used to be a disaster shelter for the town council, so the key to the shutter is still kept in the mayor's house. It's Rika-chan and Satoko's private residence now, though. Well, this is on Rika-chan's property. Anyway, nobody complains about it. Mion gave me a smile as she said that. However, I could only return her gaze with an aghast expression. Mion was acting all too normal now, but that only contrasts all more sharply with her earlier un-Mion-like creepiness. Bang! Bam! Clatter, 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 bang! The shutter opened up for the first time in a very long while. Rena located the light switch and wasted no time going inside. I followed her in. Rika-chan! Satoko-chan! If you're here, say something! We climbed a narrow staircase. It looked like nothing more than a warehouse, but now that I was inside, I could feel how lived in it was. It was a person's home. Somehow the scent of two of them filled the place. This was definitely Rika-chan and Satoko. This is definitely where Rika-chan and Satoko lived. First floor doubled as a town assembly warehouse. That music. But the second floor was a space entirely for living. Just like a one-room apartment past the kitchen. Past the kitchen was a living room taking up 150 square feet. Dressers, cupboards, and the like were packed into space, and in the corner there was a huge pile of clothes that appeared to have just been taken and drying from drying outside. In the center of the living room was a fold-up table, and on it were small containers for things like soy sauce and salad dressing. We'll see. The sense of a frugal lifestyle drifted from all of it. It was strange that they weren't here in the middle of a night like this. Well, that music, though. It was strange that they weren't here in the middle of the night like this. The adults, climbing the stairs one at a time, began to make a fuss and talk amongst themselves. So, not here? Yeah, they're not here. This is definitely weird. The village had just been thrown into chaos yesterday because of the mayor's disappearance. And today, even Rika-chan and Satoko had. Were they all playing somewhere together? That can't be. Their bicycles aren't here, though. Where would they been gone so late at night? Have they just not come back yet? Where did they go? The adults put forth various possibilities, and the house immediately devolved into a state of confusion. Eventually, Mion settled them down. I don't want to believe it, but the mayor, Kimiyoshi, disappeared yesterday. Yeah, I know. We can't say this is unrelated. The adults' faces paled at Mion's declaration. Mine and Rena's did as well. Let's see. They could have gone nearby for some tea or something, then accidentally fallen asleep. Stop making things so suspicious, Mion. Whoever invited them might not just be able to wake them up at all, too. Let's eliminate that possibility first. Makino-san, please go around to the houses near the stream. Keitaro-san, go look near Ojaga Lake. Okamura-san, Mion promptly gave directions to the villagers. The adults followed them without hesitation despite her age. We'll remain here and call up anyone we can think of on the phone. Okay, everyone, you have your orders. Got it. The adults all roared in reply and pounded back downstairs below. Hello, Mi-chan. You're not the only chairperson of the school, but Hinamizawa too. No time for jokes. Hey, step aside. This old man is using the phone. Mion grinned proudly, took the receiver and got started. Rena gave Mion a trusting look, considering her dependable for doing all this. My feelings, though, were a little more complicated, since her leadership seems to be affirming the Sonosaki family's successor impression that Shion and Mr. Oishi had given me. Stop right there, Keiji Maibara. Nobody breaks the law on my watch. Okay, anyway. None of that matters right now. The most important thing is to make sure Rika-chan and Satoko are safe. Let's see, couldn't there been a clue at hinting at where they might have gone somewhere in this room? Still though, I wouldn't know what to look for anyway. Yeah, I know. If we tore the whole place apart and figure out what was different from before, we would be able to speculate, but there was nothing strange about this room, and there were no clues in sight. In the first place, I had never been before. There was no way for me to know what was different if I didn't know the room usually looked. Hey, don't give up, Keiji Maibara. Stop thinking and start looking for something. In search of something, I tried pulling open the dresser drawers and open windows. I didn't uncover anything meaningful though. Rena, also unable to stand around doing nothing, was looking around the room like I was. Rena? I don't think you'll find Rika-chan by opening the refrigerator or the cabinet underneath the sink. I just thought they might be hiding. How? Oh my god! As we were searching, it got noisy outside. Villagers were quickly assembling here, having heard the commotion. Of course, a lot of them were probably people Mion had called. I'll go tell everyone what's going on. The police will be here sooner or later too. We'll need to explain the situation to Oishi. Mion began descending the stairs, and we followed her out to the front house. There were already 10 adults here, and all of them looked uneasy. I suddenly noticed that the old people from the shrine were here as well, and they were praying for Rika-chan's safety, rubbing their prayer beads. This had gotten bad. This wasn't just a problem between friends anymore. Mion-chan, is it true that Rika-chan and Satoko-chan aren't here anywhere to be found? The villagers all formed a ring around Mion, swarming her. Mion raised her right hand as if silently telling them to calm down. First, let's check every house according to the Town Council's notification division and see if they're visiting anyone. After all, they could be fast asleep at someone's house and totally unaware that we're looking for them. It would definitely be hard for someone to wake up Rika-chan if she had eaten a good full meal and had fallen asleep like a kitten afterwards. Oh, how nice would it be if that were the case? I don't want to think about this, but it's also possible something bad has happened. Mion's face grew remarkably more grim, and a wave of silence washed over the adults. We should divide up the work too. We'll go around to all the places we went last night while looking for the mayor. We'll go look around the dam construction site as best we can. You guys go search around the school. Right. Let's get a move on. Come on, let's go. All of you are up all night looking for the mayor. I know you're all low on sleep, but please, do your best. Got it. With that as their signal, the adults scattered in every direction. I figure I should scatter somewhere as well, so I started walking unsteadily in a direction no one else had gone in. I was getting farther and farther from people. I didn't feel scared or anything though. If someone were made to disappear, Shion and I would be first. Yeah, it would have been perfectly normal for me to be scared of the dark. However, I didn't feel that way. Why was that? It was because tonight, someone had already disappeared. So somebody else would disappear tonight. It would take some time before I get exhausted as I was. Would have felt guilt at the cause of my own selfish sense of relief. I assume that's the cliffhanger? Yeah, I thought so. Suddenly my vision cleared and a cold wind caressed my body. This was the hill from which you could see the whole village. Looking down from this hill, I could see here and there and knew that the village had awoken from its slumber. First Takano-san and Tomitake-san, then the mayor, and now even Rika-chan and Satoko had been sacrificed, and a word of it was spreading everywhere. And congrats on leveling up as always, Maru. The strength in my knees left me. This could no longer be a joke. We could have found them. Mion would have just told me I was a worrywart. Rena would just be glad we did. Yeah, you're welcome. And they would have smiled at me. My hopes disappeared as if I were awakening from a dream. That was the view I could see was telling me. Following my knees, my arms bent forward onto the ground, and I clawed at it with my nails. I couldn't figure out if I was feeling sorrow or frustration. Ugh. Is this my fault? I couldn't endure the burden of my own sin, and I had just told Rika-chan about it. They had nothing to do with it, but Rika-chan and even Satoko had been sacrificed. It was like a cross that Mion and I would each other have to bear the weight of until we ourselves were erased. Well, if I'm going that far, then the problem started long before that. My original sin of breaking taboo and entering the ritual storehouse without asking. I knew I shouldn't have gone in there from the start. Yet I lost out to cheap curiosity. I hadn't felt so angry at myself until this very moment. There was a crunching sound. I wasn't even interested in who made the noise, despondent as I was. Kiji-kun! Kiji-kun! Are you okay? It was Rena. Perhaps my clawing at the ground made it look like I was having stomach pains. She ran over and rubbed my back like she was trying to make me feel better. This is all my fault. It was because of me. I see. It's my fault. Ichi-kun's fault. You didn't do anything wrong. Please don't blame yourself for this. I could tell Rena what was doing her best to choose the right words out of consideration for me. That's why I would sense her intent behind those words. Keiji-kun, you know why Rika-chan and Satsuko-chan disappeared, don't you? Is what she really meant to say. Because it was an emergency, Rena had ignored the reason I wanted to make sure Rika-chan was safe, but... I see. Now that we actually confirm her disappearance, it was only natural Rena would start to wonder why. However, the situation having gone this far, I couldn't possibly tell her now. I didn't want to admit that Rika-chan and Satsuko had disappeared, but I wouldn't let Rena disappear either. Eiji-kun? If you stay here in the wind, you'll catch a cold. Rena sat down, bringing her eyes level with mine. They told us that children should go back home to sleep. Rena showed me that her watch as she said that. It was long past 1 in the morning. Time was passing too quickly. Had I been crawling around here for that long? If we don't fall asleep soon, we'll have trouble getting up for school tomorrow. Even the adults are really worn out, since they were up searching for the mayor last night too. They were saying they'd break up a little earlier tonight. I was a little upset that they weren't allotting as much time to this as they had searched for the mayor last night, but that was something. I, the cause of everything, had no right to criticize them for. It's alright. The police had arrived a little while ago. Look, there's police cars coming into the village right now. Hearing that remark, I looked down at the village to see that there were indeed more cars than one normally expected at this hour, coming from the darkness on the other side of the mountain. However, none of the emergency lights were on. Of course, their sirens weren't wailing either. That's right, all of the incidents that occurred right after Watanagashi were seen as the product of Oyoshiro-sama's curse, and would be handled in secrecy. Rika-chan and Satsuko too, their disappearance would end up exactly like the other serial incidents in the past. Surreptitious, unresolved, declared a mystery, and disappeared from memory. Rika-chan's face, her sweet face, like a Western doll, would fade away. Satoko's smile, her energetic feigned smile, would fade away. The more I try to remember them, the less I would be able to. I deserve to be called an idiot dozens of times over, and it wouldn't be enough. Yeah, I know. I couldn't hold back the tears at my own sheer stupidity. I don't know what you're blaming yourself for, Keiji-kun, but you should stop. I wasn't able to deny it, but I wasn't about to deny it, I couldn't. Even so, I couldn't affirm it either. I wanted to at least keep Rena out of this. If she found out, she would become involved. Please, Rena. Could you leave me alone? Just leave me alone? Even if I went home, I wouldn't be able to sleep. If I couldn't get to sleep, then I at least wanted to search for Rika-chan and Satsuko until I collapsed. The entire village was looking, and yet they still hadn't been found. I don't think I'd be able to find them if I went looking alone at this point. Still, I had to do it. They disappeared because of me. I couldn't possibly go to sleep while other people are out there searching. I said that to myself in self-deprecation, but I soon realized that Rena was silently trying to find the meaning in my mumblings. I realized I had misspoke. It's Keiji-kun's fault? Why do you think that? Why? That can't be. Keiji-kun, you're not at fault. I was happy that Rena said these to me, but she only did so because she didn't know the truth. If she knew that everything had been caused by my breaking taboo on the night of Watanagashi, then even Rena would curse my existence. However, I can't even allow for those curses. That would mean confessing my own crimes to Rena. If I spilled even one word of having snuck into the ritual storehouse on the night of Watanagashi, then even Rena could disappear tomorrow night. Gentle, spirited, always joking, always howling. But at the same time, the most dependable person in the world, Rena, might disappear. I don't want that. Anything but that. This time I need to bear my own cross, alone. Keiji-kun, I know you always have your friends in your heart. I can really understand like you want to kick yourself. Rena knows though that it's not Keiji-kun's fault. You didn't do anything wrong, Keiji-kun, and I know that. You know that? The shivery in my veins rushed up my back and replaced the sorrow in my heart with fear. I didn't tell her anything, did I? Maybe I accidentally said something that caused Rena to figure it out. This is bad. Now Rena would disappear. Rena would disappear. Rena would disappear. Then Rena, the same way I always did, grabbed my head and began to pet it roughly. Keiji-kun, are you thinking that Rena might disappear now too because of Oyashiro-sama's curse? She put more force into her hand, rubbing my head. You don't need to worry about that. Rena isn't going anywhere, I promise. Why? How can you say that with such confidence? I mean, someone had been sacrificed every night so far. There was no proof that it would again happen again tomorrow night. There was even less proof after all that the sacrifice wouldn't be Rena. I don't care who you are. Just please, if you're going to erase someone, erase me first. Please stop cruelly getting rid of people we're close to, like the mayor for Shion and Rika-chan and Satsuko for me. Be right back real quick. Of course, there's the routine parents coming home. My dad bought me my own SD card reader. That way I could set up for recordings for Pokemon X and Moon. And no, again, like I said, there won't be any RSC remake since I'm sure if you watch my streams on YouTube, you know my stance on it. AKA, I despise it. I'm laughing about that. What's wrong with me? Okay, anyway. Shion's hysterical shouting came back to mind. They must be planning to kill us last of all. They're not killing the first people who come to mind. They start by killing those we're close to. And then after they cause us so much pain, they'll kill us. That must be what they're doing. Rena? Please don't disappear. Please don't, as long as I'm still here. I could no longer conceal the sobs welling up within me. Yeah, I know. Come on, Keiji-kun, crying doesn't suit you. Let's go back to the others. The housewives are cooking some miso soup for us. It'll warm you up and calm you down. I'm just reading a horror storybook, Arachne. How are you doing tonight? Rena prompted me to stand. But yeah, I'm just playing a visual novel, but with a different take, like horror, and immersion, and atmosphere as well. I didn't have the energies to oppose her, so I stood as she urged me to. We returned to the shrine grounds to find several gas stoves there with miso soup in big pots. The many villagers have sipped at the soup they were given in dead stony silence. Their expression was absolutely exhausted. Well, yeah, how are you doing tonight, by the way, Arachne? Their expressions were absolutely exhausted. Everyone had just been running around the village until a little while ago. From the dreary looks on their faces, though, I assumed they hadn't come up with anything yet. Kei-chan, where did you go? I was worried you disappeared too. Sorry. Mion held out some miso soup for me, but I refused the offer. I didn't have much of an appetite. Kei-chan, how is it? Did you find any clues? Miso, oh my god. Mion took a sip of her soup, her expression frank. Not at all. School ended and they went home. Then the two of them went somewhere on their bicycles. Moreover, nobody ever saw them riding their bikes, so... When it gets dark out in Hinamizawa... what happened, if you don't mind me asking? When it gets dark out in Hinamizawa, people quickly vanish from the street. Aside from adults hurrying back from town in cars or on bicycles, it was normal to see absolutely nobody walking around outside. It wasn't at all strange that nobody had seen Rika-chan and Satoko riding their bikes. It was the same last night. Okay, I can understand that, but I'm Macy. Yeah, just enjoy me reading a video game book. It was the same last night with the mayor. There's no hope. Mion's apathetic tone pricked my nerves, but that anger quickly subsided. Oh, looks like people are coming in now. Awesome. She had been doing all sorts of things to try and find Rika-chan until just a second ago. But yeah, I hope for the best for you and you two feel better. If I ask her, she'd probably say she was up all night last night too looking for the mayor, wouldn't she? She must have been far more fatigued than I was. Alright. I'm probably gonna go AFK real quick soon though. I'm just gonna say paycheck is coming to my door real quick. Hang on a sec, I'm giving you and Arachne something. Because I have nothing better left to do, and I love hearing this jingle. It's gonna come up twice. Have a gift from me, of course. Yeah, but yeah, take your time, Laviri. Enjoy your NG emoticon now. That Maroon just showcased. But yeah, you're welcome for everything. Besides, what about me? I had spent the time hunched over in indecision all alone. I had no right to say anything about Mion. Kei-chan, I know it's hard, but let's turn in for the night. We just decided now we should break up the search for now. Drink this and let's call it quits. Is this the end? Oh no, of course not. Once it's bright out again, we'll do a thorough search with the police's help. Oh god, that conga music is coming into mind again. They could have gone to Okinomiya too. People are even saying we should go through all of Shishibone City, investigating whether there are any witnesses for both the girls and the mayor. Anyway, what happened, Kei-chan? Where did you go off to? You vanished all of a sudden. I was really worried. Yeah, I respect that too, man. You're welcome as well, Arachne. Suddenly, I was on the receiving end, but I didn't have the willpower to respond. Sorry, I'll be more careful. Nothing happened? There wasn't anyone suspicious spying on or stalking you, nothing like that? Mion demanded with a serious expression. I was being criticized for how considerate I had been. Despite him being so much pain, I was frustrated that I was being criticized, but it was my sin, and I must bear it alone. Nothing. I'll be more careful either way. Sorry. Mio, now aware that nothing had happened, heaved a big sigh, with her shoulders and looking relieved. Oh my. I have 4 more people to gift at this point, Maroon. I knew I smelled something good coming from over here. I'd be much obliged if you allow me to have some. We heard the repulsive voice of a fat man. That's funny. It was Mr. Oishi, trailed by a handful of police officers. He was acting energetically, in a way unfitting given the situation. There's not much left, but you can have some if you want. Mion didn't like Mr. Oishi very much. Her cold attitude, though, didn't seem to bother Mr. Oishi in the slightest. It was like splashing water in a frog's face. Well now, miso soup leftovers have a bit too much salt for my taste. Confound it. Would you all like any? He recommended it to its subordinates, but everyone gave dry smiles and refused. So have the police gotten any hold of any clues? Rena's smile was warm enough to replace the miso soup. Don't you worry, little missy. Everything's fine. We're searching for them real good. He said a word about having found a new clue. He didn't say a word about having found any new clues. In other words, there had been no progress. That must sure was an annoying way of beating around the bush. In any case, it really has gotten late. All of you youngsters should get on home and get some sleep. It'll be bad for your health otherwise. Yeah, Kei-chan, Rena, get some rest. These guys get our tax money. They'll handle it from here for us. Tax money, oh my god. They're taxpayers too, you know. It's like we're drinking our own... Ugh. Nah! I really wasn't in the mood for laughter. Nice. That's for Kabutops, right? I really wasn't in the mood for laughter. In fact, Mr. Oishi was the only one laughing like an idiot. If you saw you joined later in my Oblivion streams, but if you saw the previous volumes, it's actually an outfit in the game. Okay, seriously, please do your best. Let's go home, Keiji-kun. It'll be hard for us to wake up tomorrow if we don't. Yes, that's right. I can always bring you home if you need it. Kuma-chan, why don't you bring the car around? Ah, no thanks. We came on our bicycles, so... No need to worry. We came in a truck. We'll just throw the bikes in the back. We may have gotten pretty sleepy, but we just needed the ride home at this point. Yep, that's my laughter. I mean, there's plenty of clips on the Twitch just to show what it is. Like, it could even get to, like, a point of sounding like the Joker from Batman. I didn't want to bother the police like that. Rena, however, nodded. Okay, if you insist, we appreciate it. It's probably safer than if we went back alone. By the way, Arachne, if I recall, you had a 360, right? Have you ever played any of the Halo games by any chance? I realized that Rena's idea was extremely rational. Now that it's decided. Well, yeah. I just like keeping things light and even like violent games like Doom and whatnot. Now that it's decided, let's get a move on, shall we? Ooh, nice. I should mention, did you know Master Chief Collection is coming on Steam? I'm probably gonna pre-order it day one once the pre-orders are set. Yeah, I would, you know, I'm just tempted since I do play Doom a lot on Ultra Violence. I wonder if I could try playing Halo on Legendary with keyboard and mouse. I'll probably be more sufficient with that. Oh yeah, same. I'm probably gonna pre-order it if they're gonna do that on Steam. Okay, bye. Good night. Rena, Kei-chan. Yeah, Mi-chan, you go to bed too, okay? Good night. I waved my hand as well, saying goodbye. Rika and Chan and Satoko still hadn't been found. My unease, however, was steadily being pushed away by sleepiness. Rena showed the police where our bicycles were so that Mr. Oishi could haul them up into their trucks. He prompted us to get into the back seat. Maroon, you get the feeling that I'll probably try that on Legendary. Like, I don't want to, of course, I don't want to push, like, Nate, Deathly, and, I forgot his name, Lonely Soldier, to do something that insane. I could hear the spring squeaking as I sat down onto a seat that would normally hurt my rear end, but at this point, it was very soft, and I was more than comfortable enough for me to fall asleep on. Ladies first, we'll start with the little Mrs. house. Where do you live? Thank you. My house is, well... Rena's voice slowly grew distant. I felt myself being sucked into the void of sleep. Hello, Maibara-san. Are you asleep back there? When I came to, it was quiet. The car was parked. Mr. Oishi. Nice. Mr. Oishi was giving me light slaps to the cheek. It didn't feel good at all, so I woke up immediately. I'm sorry, I just fell asleep. And congrats on leveling up, Arachne. Something was being held right now under my nose. A clump of metal? It was a can of coffee. It's lukewarm by now. A cafe au latte, I can't even say that, is good even at room temperature. Oh, thanks. I mechanically took the can and opened the pull top. The feeling of the warm, sweet liquid going down my throat awakened my sleepy mind. When my drowsiness receded, I started wanting to know why the car was stopped, and I was offered coffee. Mr. Oishi, still struggling with that, who had been in the driver's seat, had at some point moved to the back. In the game, it's the like working uniform outfit for a restaurant in the game called Angel Mort. Suddenly, I had a very bad feeling about this in Japan in a town called Okinomiya. It had reminded me of the questioning yesterday at the library. It was already too late by the time I realized I'd made a mistake. Today of all days, it didn't look like I would be getting away. I had a feeling that until Mr. Oishi heard what he wanted to, he wouldn't be letting me go. Hang on, I'll be right back real quick. Actually, let me turn on AFK mode real quick. And I'm back. Sorry about that. Just got my paycheck for this week. Please don't get all formal on me. And congrats on leveling up, Macy. Yeah, thanks, Laviri. Please don't get all formal on me. I'm not going to eat you or anything, Maibara-san. Mr. Oishi gulped down the last of his coffee, then stretched wide, showing me how relaxed he was. That, however, only served to heighten my nervousness. What do you need from me? Yeah, I just had to answer the door to get the paycheck. Need? Oh no, nothing really. You're going to evade the question at this point? What a deeply unreadable man. Well, I don't need you for anything. I just thought that you might need something from me, Maibara-san. I don't need anything. Oh, I see, really? Are you sure there's nothing? There was only one side door in the back seat of the his truck. In other words, my only exit was blocked off by Mr. Oishi. I couldn't get away. I could only limply hang my head and maintain my silence. Mr. Oishi, despite my reticence, relaxed and began smoking a cigarette. The cries of the insect outside seemed to be growing longer and longer, to an amount of time that almost seemed infinite. Here, I was sure that you had something you wanted to talk to me about. Mr. Oishi exhaled a puff of smoke. The windows were open, but the tobacco smoke still accumulated inside the vehicle. How much did Mr. Oishi know? Well, I mean, yeah, not really, Maroon. Wait, what did he know? And what did he want to hear from me? If finding out the truth made you disappear, then if I told him, would Mr. Oishi disappear too? I had a feeling that I didn't need to worry about that in this case. I wonder how this all ended up happening. Mr. Oishi addressed me in a low tone as if he was talking to himself. How this all ended up happening? How should I know? That was what I wanted to know. You know Jiro Tomitake-san and Mio Takano-san, right? I know you do because I personally witnessed you with them during the festival, along with Shion Sonosaki-san. Do you know how Tomitake-san and Takano-san are doing now? They've actually, well, passed away. They met very untimely deaths. Mr. Oishi probably played that card in order to surprise me. However, I already knew and didn't display the extreme reaction he'd expected. What's this? Did you already know? Unfortunately for this question in particular, remaining silent as equivalent was sent to saying yes. Oh, so then, did you also know the reason Tomitake-san and Takano-san were cursed like that? People are saying that apparently they went into some forbidden building, the storehouse for ritual implements. That forbidden shed, sealing away Hinamizawa's blood-stained past, where the mistake that it started all happened. Did you know about the rumors that say that Mayor and Rika Furude-san were cursed because of that too? That would mean it was mine and Shion's fault. She was right as soon as we revealed what we did. Or he was right. What did they call it? A ritual storehouse? They're saying it was bad luck. The lock to it had been replaced by a simpler one, which made it easier for thieves to get inside. What? This was news to me. Until last year, it It apparently had these big bars and a huge padlock on it. I mean, you know, ever since the priest and his wife passed away, Rika Furude-san has been managing the place, right? Apparently she talked to the mayor saying that she wanted them replaced with a lighter, more simple padlock, because the bars were too heavy for her. I didn't know anything about those big bars he was talking about, but the lock had certainly been a simple one. It was a pretty cheap one too, and it really didn't fit my impression of what a lock for a place you'd store something as important as ritual implements would look like. Rika-san is a small girl after all. The bars were heavy with rust, and they must have caused her a lot of trouble. So the mayor hired craftsmen and replaced the lock with a simple padlock so she could open it with a key. Well, yeah. So, how does that mean it was bad luck? Here's what I'm saying. Thieves couldn't get into the old tight pet lock. The mayor and Rika-san replaced it with a cheap lock and key on their own, so thieves broke into it. By the way, Laviri, if you're listening, if you're wondering what my icon is based on, especially along with the Discord and Twitch and YouTube, it's basically my own sort of like mascot for the streams. And yes, she was part of that gallery I showed you last night. Apparently that's how it's going down. That explanation is a bit... Letting that slide, certain members of the village delivered punishment upon the thieves who stole into the ritual storehouse, as well as the mayor and Rika-san who changed the lock. At least those are the whispers that seem to be going around. Yeah, she is. Maibara-san, what do you think? What do I think? I don't know what you mean by certain members of the village. Are you familiar with the three families representative of each of them gives short addresses at the Watanagashi festival opening ceremony? Did you see them? I came partway through the festival, so I don't really... The three families are the three oldest families in Hinamizawa. To give actual names, the Kimiyoshi family, the Sonosaki family, and the Furude family. They each have quite the lineage, it seems. Long ago, it said that everything in the village was decided by the council of the three families. Yeah, I know. And then there's me who's wanting to routinely change the icon as well, to let other artists have a chance to show her. The Kimiyoshi family, Old Man Kimiyoshi meaning the mayor's family. The Sonosaki family was Mion's. So Furude family was Rika-chan's family then. After the war, the Sonosaki family quickly expanded their influence. Practically speaking, after the fight against the construction during the dam conflict, they jumped to the top of the hierarchy in Hinamizawa. You see though, in accordance with old ways, they still decide important village matters only after consulting with the three families. That's why the leader of the three families each have their own address at the start of the Watanagashi. Well, I guess hint hint wink wink. And the last remaining member of the Furude family, Rika-san. I heard that the Sonosaki family was pretty high up there. So Rika-chan's family was just as old? What do you mean? What are you talking about, Maroon? Well, as you're aware, she has no relatives at all. In reality, the Furude family holds pretty much no influence. However, it seems like people gravitate toward Rika-san on a personal level, and I hear many of the village's elderly have blind faith in her. Well, yeah. It was certainly true that Rika-chan had an odd sort of charisma amongst the elderly. So what are you telling me about all these three family stuff for? Mr. Oishi paused for emphasis, lighting another cigarette. I've explained a lot, but I suppose it's still not enough. I'm asking because I don't understand. Oishi gave me a dry, meaningful grin and blew out another puff of smoke. Members of the three families are disappearing one after another. That's what I'm talking about. I've read that it's based on some kind of old tradition inherent in Hinamizawa, but I don't know much beyond that. I don't know anything about it either. That's why I'm asking. Yeah. The leaders of the Kimiyoshi and Furude family have disappeared, so maybe the leader of the Sonosaki family will disappear next. Oh, jeez. I actually remember that with that. Anyway. Well, that's just a random idea bouncing around my head at the moment. Nah. Sorry about that Steam notification. Just kidding, really. The leader of the Sonosaki family. Who is it? The current leader is the old lady at their main house, but it wouldn't be incorrect to say that practically all the rights of leadership have been transferred to her daughter Mion-san. The visage of Mion giving prompt direction to the adults while searching for Rika-chan sprung back into mind. No, they just commented on the me buying Dark Messiah of Might and Magic. Mion? She's gonna disappear? I hadn't even thought of the possibility. All my hair stood on the end. That's insane. Nobody wants that, right? Of course not. We can't allow that. Clamp. Mr. Oishi grabbed my shoulders with both hands. And help us, my Barasan. If there's anything you've noticed about me and Sonosaki lately, please tell me. I was going along with him. By the time I realized it, it was too late. Yeah, thanks. Almost close enough to ram into me, waiting for my next words. This pressure, I can't tear my eyes away from this. That moment I heard a beeping sound. It was from the driver's seat. He ignored it at first, but then it started to bother him. So he finally let go of me and leaned on to the driver's seat. Hello? Yep, loud and clear. I was safe, of course. It's not like I could escape through this opening. I see. Yes, alright. Let's head back then. Yes. Okay. Apparently he was being recalled. Now that I knew I'd be free, the tension in my body dissipated all at once. Let me send you a couple files real quick, for reference, Laviri. Oh my god, I just saw Maroon's post of the Joker. Oh jeez. Anyway, it looks like I need to get going. We were just getting to the good part. That's too bad. Mr. Oishi flung open the door, exited, and walked around to the front of the seat. Yeah, he's one of those characters I actually made back in 2007. But my weebness started to kick in as a teenager. He left the door open. Did that mean I could leave? You really care about your friends, Mayabata-san. An admirable and admirable trait for a kid to have in this day and age. I totally understand that it feels like you'd be betraying them if you told the police anything. Mayabata-san, it's the middle of the night, so get a good night's sleep and then think about it. Just a little bit of courage from you end up being what saves many of your friends in the end. Did you want to say the sacrifices wouldn't stop with Rika-chan and Satsuko? You know this already, but every night since Watanagashi, something has happened. In the past, the curse only occurred once per year, but this time it's been going on for days. What a prosperous year this has been. I don't think you can call that prosperous. The night before last night, and now today. There's no proof that something won't happen tomorrow night as well. It's our job to prevent such things before they happen. But for that, we need your cooperation, Mayabata-san. I look out the open door to see none other than my own house right in front of me. It creeped me out that he knew my name and address, but I was too sleepy right now. Welcome back, by the way, Arachne. Yeah, I just got back myself. I guess me AFK gave you a perfect opportunity to go do something as well. But I was too sleepy right now. I was too sleepy to care. Oh, you're probably tired. It's already 3 in the morning. Please, get yourself some good rest. Yes, sir. I'll be going now. When I was about to get out of the truck as if to deliver a parting blow, Mr. Oishi said in a raised voice, I'll be coming every day until you feel like talking, alright? I don't believe forcing you to confess in an interrogation room is really in fashion these days. Hi, Ponsu, how are you doing tonight? I'll just call you Fest. Is this X90, may I ask? I couldn't say anything in response, but me slamming the door shut probably served the same purpose. After lightly beeping the horn, Mr. Oishi trucks drove off. I went to the front door without waving goodbye. The door was locked, but the chain wasn't up. I unlocked the door and entered. Then walked over to the staircase. Alright, see ya, Laviri. It's alright. But yeah, you too. Go be safe though. What? Aya? Oh, looks like that was it. Request denied. Empty-handed. Miso soup. Or did you mean like yes, Fest? The Sonosaki family, the one to drastically expand its influence after the war, was the Sonosaki family. The leader at the time was Oreo. Oh my god, every time I read that, I always think of like Oreo cookies. Oreo Sonosaki, who still has that seat today. Oreo Sonosaki has grown old, and today you can only catch a glimpse of who she was at the time. From what I've been told, however, she was the leader extolled as the best in history. Right. Having become so old, aside from going out a few times a week for lessons, she spends her time at home in solitude and seems to leave most of the ceremonial affairs to her heir, Mion. There are different views on why the successor was not her daughter, but her granddaughter, Mion, but it's rumored it has to do with disownment of her daughter and son-in-law. That uninhibited granddaughter, Mion Sonosaki, still shows no sign of the dignity required for the next leader. However, she does have Sonosaki blood in her veins and is permitted in the name of demon. She still doubtlessly requires caution and is probably hiding her fangs and claws as skillfully as the leader of the past did. Huh. Yeah, we know. Alright, see ya. You're welcome. Oh, that's very... I'm glad I could help with that, though. You're welcome. Yes, the postal worker hasn't seen anything either. The Sonosaki main house has their seal hanging from their mailbox, so anyone can stamp their mail or parcels with it and drop it in. Nah, that's rather careless of them. So, when was she last seen? She was last seen at the Watanagashi opening ceremony. Greetings. She apparently returned home right after that. Well, she is pretty old. And congrats on leveling up, Laviri, if you see this on YouTube. You're welcome. See ya. And thanks for the heart. From what I've heard, she goes a few times a week to take lessons, right? Have you found anything about that? Every Monday she goes to the assembly hall to practice Taisho Godo, but she didn't go this week. Any calls to say she wasn't going to be there? Has anyone confirmed it? No, nobody. She apparently takes days off once in a while, though, so no one thought it was strange. Tomorrow, why don't we pretend we're at the town hall and call around 10 o'clock? Please figure out whether she's at home. 10 o'clock? Got it. Ever since it started to seem more and more like ancient Hinamizawa tradition, had something to do with all this. He'd been keeping a careful eye on the three families. At this point, the leader of the Kimiyoshi family and the leader of the Furude family had disappeared. There was only one leader left. Oryo Sonosaki, the leader of the Sonosaki family. She was apparently a pretty old woman. Her dignity hasn't waned, but she still only appeared before people rarely, so it was difficult to confirm where she was at any given time. She, the last leader, hadn't been seen since the day of Watanagashi. Was she still alive and well with the Sonosaki main house? Or had she... According to Mio and Sonosaki, she had fallen ill and was sleeping it off. I wonder if she's really sleeping. I'd like to take a look at her face and her pulse. You can say that again. The two of them breathed out a big puff of cigarette smoke. Mr. Oishi, about the search warrants for the Sonosaki main house and the Furude shrine. Do you think we'll get them? Oishi didn't respond, exhaled another cloud of tobacco smoke. His surroundings not as foggy as his mind. The hidden demon. The inhabitants of Hinamizawa believe that the blood of demons flow in their blood. As such, the character for demon, or Oni I would assume, is treated as very sacred. For example, the usage of the character Oni in names is apparently a right reserved for only the leaders of Kimiyoshi and Sonosaki family. Case in point, we can see it in the current Sonosaki family leader, Oryo, as is written with the character. I can't read that. This, and only this, is the proof she is the legitimate leader of the Sonosaki family. In the same way, Mion Sonosaki, its successor, contains, in her name, with Mi being written as. It goes for Oryo's daughter and Mion's mother, Akane, who did not succeed her. It is known that before the disowning, Akane's name was actually written as, though it was still changed afterwards to still read as Akane. Incidentally, it's thought that the first character mayor, Kijo's name originally meant demon, which can also be read as Ki. Probably. It should be said that the names using character aren't limited to successors of the Sonosaki family. You can even find it in the last names of the three families. For example, the characters of Kimiyoshi are likely split up versions of Oni. If you write it in reverse and top to bottom as, it clearly resembles the character Oni. As for the Furude family, who had been in the Shinto priesthood for generations, the word for fortune tellers can still be written without the interval characters as. I think with the addition of the demon's horn, the tick on the top of the character became the. Oh my god, I can't even read this. Is used in the name now. In the case of the Sonosaki family, where Sonosaki is written as, I can't find any reference to the character Oni. Perhaps because it's already ingrained into their first names. They were the clan responsible for ending the Watanagashi ceremony, so I think that instead they included the contents of the ceremony into their last name. The Saki in Sonosaki is a conjugation of the word for slice, and Sono, written as, probably contains the hidden meaning of human body, as is a complicated mess, organs enclosed by four sides. I think, in other words, the Sonosaki family comes from those who slice open the gut. Ugh. I'm back! How did it go? Did you find any clues? The officers shook their heads in disappointment. Exhaustion was plainly showing on everyone's faces. What? That was only natural. None of them had gotten a wink of sleep since the day of Watanagashi. Chief, let the youngest of us take a nap and then switch them out. We've got a long stretch ahead of us after all. Let's not push ourselves too hard and rest up so we can take it easy as we go. I've been telling them to sleep in shifts. Nobody actually seems to be willing to sleep though. Could you tell them yourself, Mr. Oishi? Oh my, you don't need to force yourself. Komiyama-kun, please let everyone sleep in shifts. Starting with the youngest. Komiyama-san, please don't do that. After the chief told them as well, Komiyama-san left his seat. So chief, still no good on our request? It's just a rumor among the villagers in the first place, you know. It's going to be difficult without more concrete evidence. You still alive there, Fest? Even when the evidence that might be tucked away in there. We need evidence that evidence is tucked away in there. Chief, don't start speaking in riddles to me now. We have witnesses that say 4 people, including the 2 that died, went into a forbidden ritual storehouse without permission. This is all reliable information. You might call it information, but they're really only rumors. They're not concrete evidence. Well, it's true that we don't have any pictures of the 4 of them sneaking in with cloth tied around their heads. Anyway, those 4 saw something inside the storehouse, something important enough that they be erased. Important enough that they be erased? What would that be exactly? That's why I'm asking for a warrant to go for it in the first place. Anything pointing out the Sonosaki's family connection to violent organizations would be a major contender. Like a pile of Togarev's or Poppy production facility. The secret Sonosaki family fortune would be pretty much difficult to discard. Look, Mr. Oishi, I know how you feel. However, that storehouse is a sacred building belonging to the Furude Shrine, and we need to have proper consideration for the locals when dealing with it. I heard that there was an hour-long call made from the Congressman Sonosaki to the big man. Chief, could he nailed you back down? Anyway, as long as we don't have suitable evidence, we won't get any search warrant for the storehouse. That goes for the Sonosaki main house too, especially considering the jurisdiction of both Section 4 and Prefectural Police Crimes Prevention Division. We need careful preparations first. If you say you need preparations, then why don't you just let me talk with them directly? Shige-san is the head of Section 4, right? For crime preventions, it's Yamaumi-san. They seem like they'd be quicker to talk if I set them down at a mahjong table. Chief, you have a visitor. Yikes! Pushing the employee who guided him right out of the way, it was an old man who looked like a Yakuza member, given his crested kimono and hakama. Did he not get enough of this over the phone? I am Congressman Sonosaki. I demand to know who's responsible for this incident. Hello, I am Division Chief Takasugi. I don't need your name. I could have I could have you demoted on a whim. You wouldn't be enough. Bring out the one called Oishi or ever. He deserves punishment for requesting a search warrant on the sacred Furude Shrine. I sincerely apologize. Oishi is currently out on investigation, and he has been difficult to contact. I'll take his place and hear you out, so please have a seat. The chief's eyes were telling me to get out of here. Perhaps I'll gratefully accept this favor. Maybe I'll go lay down in the nap room. Listen here, the Furude Shrine spent 2,600 years under the imperial calendar and 2,500 more beyond that. It is sacred, a sanctuary that must never be defiled. The 800,000 gods, Oyashido-sama, and the spirits of our ancestors are enshrined here. The holy shrine protects Hinamizawa from when the sun comes up when it sets and from when the moon rises when it falls. Who's the idiot who wanted to set foot in there? Besides the right to religion, is the most revered right people of this country in the Constitution. You dare to be so bold to sully that using your own investigation negligence as pretext? I will not allow it. Are you listening, you lying guy? I'm angry now, so you better not get off the hook that easily. Uh-huh. Yeah. I guess assuming how long the last 2 chapters would be, like how Oni Kakushi was, like it went on until midnight. I guess I'll end the stream here for tonight. But yeah, let me check real quick. No, no, no. Tomorrow I'll do The Sims 2 and Sunday Insectoid Descent. And maybe Oblivion 2 hours after. So yeah, thanks for watching and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.